If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
But let's all be clear about exactly what's happening. They're talking about his religion, but the subtext is something we can all pick up.
And there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity.
First and foremost, I want to say good for Vivek here. He was able to experience the politics of white supremacy that he adopted and assimilated into, only to get chewed up and spit out. As a former white Christian nationalist, I am speaking from experience, not something I watched in a movie or read in a book. This is a real life experience. To all black and brown people, white Christian conservatives, especially MAGA, will only like you or promote you if you know your place. Look at Candace Owens. She was a MAGA darling, a star, until she got out of line. When she decided to dance to the beat of her own drum set, this is what they had to say about her. But the truth is, black and brown people already know this about white Christian nationalists. So to white people, recognize this truth and change. You notice how the kid in the video said that 64% of Ohio is Christian? How can you represent us as being Hindu? What he really wanted to say was 76% of Ohio is white. How can you represent us being a brown man? But as they say, there's no hate like Christian love. It's easier to masquerade their racism and their xenophobia under the guise of their Christian faith. The vast majority of them spewing this ignorance don't even know what Hinduism is. Hell, the vast majority of them have never read their Bible. But I love it when they say that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Our founding fathers, the signers of the Declaration of Independence, were all Protestant Christians. You know what else they were? Slave owners, at least half of them, and for the other half it wasn't a deal breaker. Much like MAGA Republicans today. Half of them are openly and explicitly racist, and the other half, it's not a deal breaker for them. But honestly, I'm really glad that Vivek got to experience this running for governor of Ohio. He got to see that people in MAGA will not like you based on your religion, your skin color, your sexual orientation, and your sexual preference. No matter how much you do your little dance, Vivek, white racist people will not pick you.
This is so funny because it shows you that all these South Asian men especially who have become these big Trump supporters, they're not one of them. They're like, wait a second. Like, I'm white on the inside. They don't see that. Like, you can see Vivek's, like, hairline trying to run away from the situation. Or, like, Kash Patel in that one interview where they're like, we hope this person was a person of color. For so long, first-generation immigrant South Asian Indian people have been told to assimilate to white standards. They might see themselves, or we might see ourselves as an American first and foremost. But the problem is, most of America does not see us this way. You know how many people ask me if I do yoga? If I pray 5 times a day? I grew up Catholic in Iowa. America will always be racist against people of color. You know, this is why people like Zohran Mamdani have resonated so much with people. It's because he's so authentic about who he is. He knows his identity. He's not trying to cosplay.
I'm not sure what it's going to take for my people to truly realize that we're not welcome here. And it really doesn't matter whether you were born here or not. We're all looked at the same. Now, if you're Indian and you're watching this, you know as much as I do that we have a lot of similarities and we have a lot of disconnects. As descendants of a nation that was once colonized, we tend to whitewash a lot. And that is a truly strange phenomenon that happens. As someone that looks like, speaks like, and basically has the same story as Vivek Ramaswamy, I can let you know right now that this is nothing new. It doesn't matter what your accent sounds like. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't even matter how rich you are. The point that I'm trying to make is that no matter how hard we try, we're never going to be them. And this is nothing different than what other minority groups go through in this country. Whether you're black, whether you're Mexican, whether you're Asian, whether you're Indian, it doesn't matter. We'll always be seen as the lackey, and as soon as they don't need us anymore, we're gone. And the faster that we realize that, the better it'll be.
Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, are you starting to get it now? You went to that Turning Point USA event. You took your brown ass there in front of all them white people to try to convince them that you are somehow going to be a good choice to be governor of Ohio. Ohio, the state that I come from, that super white ass state. And them white folk flamed you, and they told you what they really think about you. That white boy went and said, Jesus is God and Christianity is the only religion. If you pray to any other religion, you are praying to a demon. He said you and what you pray to was on demon time. And they sat there and criticized, why would a brown Hindu man be the governor of Ohio? White Christian interests should be upheld. They don't want to be told what to do by a brown man. That's what you don't seem to get yet. You will only ever invited into those spaces because you were Donald Trump's little whipping boy. And you got to go up there and parrot all of Donald Trump's talking points in a manner that was more concise because you can actually functionally read. And then once Trump got back into office, all of you pick-me's had outlived your usefulness. That's why they got rid of your ass at Doge, because you was a brown man in a white space trying to talk. And they didn't need your ass no more. So they kicked you to the curb. And you think that all of a sudden you got a shot in Ohio. And I need to be honest, when I think about these pick-me's, when I think about these emotional support, I have come to the conclusion that y'all actually have a humiliation fetish. You have a humiliation kink. Because you can actually go up there and parrot white supremacist talking points. When these same white supremacists are like, we voted for Donald Trump. We voted for a man who promised mass deportations. And when we're talking about mass deportations, they're talking about your ass. They're talking about your parents' ass who immigrated here. But you still don't get it yet. Because you actually think that you're one of the good ones. You're so steeped in your anti-blackness that you really think they'll ever have a seat for you. And they never will. And I know that while you like to get your rocks off while they're insulting you, that impacts other brown folk down the line.
Hands down, my favorite pastime is when a brown or black person has that realization that they will never be liked by racists. If you haven't heard of this guy, he is running for governor in Ohio. He decided to go to the Turning Point USA to get their support. And they humbled him so quickly with one thing, his religion. He's not Christian. And I don't know why he thought that they were going to see him somehow as an equal. A, you're brown. B, they don't like any other religion that isn't Christianity. So every single person who got up at the mic was like, you can't be our governor. You're not white. You're not Christian. And here he is. His heart is breaking. He's done nothing but chuck, jive, tap dance to appease them. And when it comes down to it, it was never enough. And so that's how y'all look. If y'all wanted to know how y'all look, for those of you who be tap dancing, chucking and jiving and wondering what it's going to look like when the tables turn, it looks like this. You see that? That's what it looks like.
So we got to watch out for the governor's race in Ohio taking place at midterms. There's two candidates that are already rising to the top in terms of just being out there. Let's start with the Republicans. We've got Vivek Ramaswamy. You guys remember, he's a slime ball. The man has zero ethics. He's a, oh my God, I want to be a tech bro, pick me type. He spreads all the same lies, misinformation, disinformation. You can really see his narcissism. The guy is just gross, okay? But he's running for governor in Ohio. So he can't run on that. Why can't he run on that? Because Ohio is a unique state where most Republicans there are not extremist MAGA. They're hardworking, decent people with conservative values, okay? They were the ones who like defended the Haitians with the rest of the MAGA world around this country, and Trump saying they're eating our cats and dogs. These are the people who elected J.D. Vance as senator when he ran as an anti-Trump candidate. Governor DeWine has risen above all of the MAGA extremism and has done a good job in his state. So Vivek can't run on those ugly, lying extremist talking points. So he's going to be speaking at a Turning Point USA event right around the corner, and he's going to be delivering this message. My fellow Republicans, we must get away from the owning the libs rhetoric and agenda. We've got to tone that down. We've got to be willing to work across the aisle. He's not delivering that message because that's what he believes. He's as unethical and divisive as the rest. He's doing it because it's the only way he can win in Ohio with the composition of Republicans there. Now, on the Democratic side, we have Amy Acton, Dr. Amy Acton. She's a physician and a researcher. And just to show you how Governor DeWine puts Ohio above politics, he appointed her as a Democrat to run the Ohio Department of Health. He took all of the advice from her to get Ohio through COVID, and he stood by her side, and she did a fantastic job. He didn't care that she was a Democrat. He just wanted the best people. So she's running on the Democratic ticket.
Oh, I feel good about this. Yeah, I feel good about this. This is a good one. Yeah, I feel good about this one. Huh? Why? I just got a feeling. I just got a feeling.